You're listening to Underestimated, the podcast that helps overwhelmed small business owners turn their size into their unfair advantage so they can grow without burning out. Now here's your host, Shauna Suko.
Are you an introvert who feels pressured to do video marketing, but you're just not comfortable with it? Well, this is the episode for you because I have 10 tips to help you get comfortable with doing video. So let's dive in. Number one, you don't have to be the entertainer. You can just think of yourself as the teacher. As a business owner or somebody who works in a small business, we know you're smart. We know that you have lessons to impart. You have tips and tricks and so forth. So just think of yourself as helping the other person, and think of it, by the way, as just one person on the other end of the camera or your phone. And just think about talking just to a neighbor. And you don't have to be on, and you don't have to be entertaining and woohoo and energetic and funny and all those things. You just have to give advice or knowledge that is worth something to the other person. That's what builds trust, and that's what helps stop the scroll and that also builds familiarity. I was in Chicago earlier this week, and after my keynote, a young woman came up to me and she said, "Shauna, I'm just such a private person, and I just don't feel comfortable sharing a lot about myself. What should I do?" And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, the stories don't have to be about you," because of course, whenever I'm on stage, I harp about the importance of storytelling. So video can't just be about promotion and selling stuff. It is 22 times more impactful if those things that you're saying are wrapped in the form of a story, whatever that is. So rather than saying facts and features and benefits like, "Hey, we're open this many hours and have we got a deal for you?" Tell a story about being open at midnight and something that happened, or what it's like to work at 3 a.m. if you're open 24 hours. Tell the same thing, but wrap it in a story, and you'll stop the scroll, stand out, be more memorable, and build more trust. So you can just tell stories. They can be stories of other people. They can be stories about your business, about customers, about products, about vendors, anything about your community, even about a cause that you believe in, that your business supports. Any of those things are story worthy and will help your video marketing, and in fact, amplify your video marketing beyond other companies who are just putting out perfect, boring facts, features, commercials. You're not going to do that. Tip number 3, make your customer the hero. So you don't always have to be shining a spotlight on yourself. And inside, knowledge, I am an introvert myself. While I'm on stage, I may very much appear like an extrovert, but I can be very shy. I can be, and also by the scientific definition of an introvert, I give my energy away. So being around other people drains my social battery. I enjoy it, but I have to go recharge by myself later. So making the customer the hero of your story shines the spotlight on somebody else, which is also really, really good for building trust. So let's say that you are a bathroom remodeler, and rather than say, "Hey, we're so good at bathrooms, look at this one we just did," that may be uncomfortable for you. So rather, you might say something like, "I have to show you the most beautiful bathroom. This customer of mine picked the coolest combination of tile and fixtures and sink and all these things. You have to see it." That is something that accomplishes, it checks all the boxes, and it's not about you. In fact, you really, for stuff like that, you don't even have to appear on camera if you're really uncomfortable with that. But the more that you can appear on camera, the more you're going to build trust as the face of your company. And if you are the owner of your small business, I think that's really important. So, but this is one way where you don't always have to be on camera. You can just show pictures and do a voiceover, and that can easily be edited, or you can just use your phone and talk into it. You can get, even better, a tiny mic for like $20 on Amazon that hooks up to your phone. In fact, don't buy it from Amazon, buy it from a small business. And it just hooks up to your phone and then it clips onto your shirt. And no matter where your phone is, you can be heard. So that's another solution. So it doesn't always have to be you. Number 4. So I just talked about my social battery, and I know we all have one. So make sure and do your recordings when your social battery is full. This can be contrary to some advice that you get where you should schedule it in so you always do it. Well, that's great. And scheduling may work for some people. It doesn't work for me because my social battery isn't always predictable. I may have been around a bunch of people at a breakfast in the morning, and I can't record at noon like I always do, or I might be really tired or, anything like that. So I make it a point to, when I'm feeling energetic, okay, this is when I'm going to go. So I always have a video or two in the hopper as far as ideas, and that's when I go and record them. So make sure and do it when you're feeling your best, and I think it'll come across easier for you and better for the people watching it. Number 5, if you are super uncomfortable doing video, it's okay to use a script. What I would prefer is that you not use a word for word script for 2 reasons. People can tell if they see your eyes moving, you're using a teleprompter of some kind, it's pretty obvious. And secondly, it can come across a little monotone because you're reading and you're not using your natural inflection. You might not be using gestures that you might normally do, or head movements like I do all the time if you're watching this on YouTube or my website. So better than a word for word script is to just use bullet points. So you remember the points that you want to make, and then you fill it in with natural words, natural sounding phrases, sentences, all of those things. So try not to script word for word, but use it as a guide if you need it. Number 6, stop chasing perfection. I know this is hard because if you are an introvert, you don't want to be in the spotlight. And when you are, you feel like everybody's judging you and judging your hair or your background or your voice or your makeup or whatever. And that is rarely the case unless what you're selling is hair, makeup, clothing, background, that sort of thing. The truth is that people will only pay attention to that for a fraction of the time that you're speaking. As soon as you start to say something that catches their ear and sounds like something they need to know, something that's helpful to them, they stop thinking about you and start thinking about themselves. Humans are very egocentric. So if you give something that will help me solve a problem, I'm going to focus on that. And you will become, over time, that familiar expert that I will absolutely follow and engage with and trust and ultimately buy from, which is the whole goal. And furthermore, on that point, imperfection. I say this on stage too. Don't go for perfect. Don't go for perfect lighting and perfect sound. And see, I just hit my elbow on my desk, and you might have heard that. I'm not going to edit that out. Now, if I'm in my office, if somebody knocks on the door and I have to get up and answer, that I'll edit out for you all. But if I say too much, or if I say so, or if I have a long pause, if it's super long, I will edit that out. But normally I just take one take and I go with it. See, I just scratched my nose if you're watching this video. Oh no. Just that imperfection is more trustworthy. We don't trust perfection anymore. We don't trust stock photos and glossy everything and perfect scripts. Another reason not to use scripts. So just present yourself as if you're talking to that friend or that neighbor, and don't worry about anything else. In fact, some of the most viral videos I've produced have been me rushing through an airport. I even did one where I was literally running across the street from a dry cleaner to try to make it to the stage on time. And I looked like hell. My phone's bumping up and down. So just let that perfection go. And that imperfection is the stuff that actually shines and builds trust today. Number 7, Batch your videos. I already talked about this for when your social battery is full, but psyching yourself up to do a recording is not much different than psyching yourself up to do 2 or 3 recordings. And if you're doing just like a minute, like say you have a top 10 list, break that into 10 parts and do 10 short videos, but do them all in one sitting. And if you feel like, oh, I need to change my appearance or whatever, I will record 3 episodes today because I do batch them for my social battery, and also because it's just easier for me to just do it all at one time. And my podcasts are much longer than those 1 or 2 or 3 minute videos that you would be recording. So I really need to rev myself up energetically to do this. I love doing it, but it just, as an introvert, it takes a lot out of me. And so I will just change my jacket, or I'll take off my glasses, and woo, I'm a different person. So try to batch your videos. You'll spend a lot less emotional time revving yourself up for it. Just rev yourself up once and then just keep going until you are done. Number 8, you have strengths as an introvert. You are more observant. You are more calm. You are more thoughtful when you speak. Lean into those things, and you will attract people who resonate with that. You will very likely attract other introverts because you're calm and you're not woo, high energy and crazy like some extroverts are. And believe me, there are plenty of those on social media. What there aren't a lot of are people like you, the introvert who just is going to share information and be direct and be purposeful and just be helpful. So don't feel like you have to change everything about you to be effective. You will attract the exact right customers for you by being who you are and just conveying all the brilliance that you have. And the next one is stop trying to be, good on camera. You don't always have to be on. As I just said, you just need to seem thoughtful and genuine and conversational, and not overly rehearsed. In fact, try not to rehearse. Try just to use those bullet points so that you don't sound like you've spoken these same words a million times, because that's like too perfect, too rehearsed. And the more you rehearse something, the less natural it seems, and the less likely you are to, look up if you're having to think of something or use gestures. So just run with it and try not to do more than one take, because that gives you permission to fall back on your nerves. And to redo it again and again and again, A, huge waste of time. B, you're going for perfection that isn't valued as much today as it was 5, 10 years ago. It's just not. And perfection is more valued. So stop trying to go for, this image that you think you have to be. And the last one is to build confidence through repetition. If you have never done video marketing, then of course the first few are going to seem really awkward. But I guarantee you, by the time you hit number 10 or number 20, it's just going to be like, okay, here we go. And it will get easier over time. This is another reason to batch these, because if you make it a goal to do 10 videos in one sitting, by the time you hit number 5, you are not going to want to put that much effort into refining it to perfection. You're just going to be like, okay, I got this. I'm in my zone and I can do this. So, try to just do it as hard as it might be at the beginning, because it does get easier. Fun fact, I used to be terrified of public speaking. And this is just, let's see, I don't know, 12, 14 years ago. I did not get comfortable on stage till I was in my 40s. So it was a struggle for me. I was one of those people that would rather chew glass than be on a stage, or even in like a conference room speaking to 10 people over a sandwich. I even hated that. But what got me good at it was just doing it and repetition. And Yes, I sucked at the beginning. I was awful. I read from a paper and I looked up like every 3 sentences. I would look up and make really quick eye contact and then look back down, and my hands would shake. The good thing is, you're not in public. You can be, like I said, you can be walking through the airport, you can be walking your dog, even better if you are. They don't always have to be in the same place. But don't worry about, um, you know, all of that I've been talking about throughout this video. Just repeat, be calm, be yourself, talk as if you're talking to somebody familiar on the other end, and just keep doing it. It will get better, I promise you. And send me, once you do get comfortable, I would love to cheer you on. And even before you get comfortable, if you want feedback, just send it to me, DM me, and let me know. I'm happy to give you feedback. But as long as you're just being yourself, we're all going to love it. So that is it. One thing, please, if you are a small business owner or you work in a small business helping them market or whatnot, check out my vault. It is full of free, actually useful stuff, not just stuff to upsell you or whatnot. I think there are maybe only 3 things in there that are for sale. Everything else is free. So just go to thebuyerinsider.com, and under resources, you'll see all of my blogs, my podcasts, but also Vault. It is free. Check that out. I am certain you will find things in there that would be helpful. And if there's something you wish existed that isn't in the vault, please let me know. Sometimes it's hard for me to see the forest for the trees. So let me know what you're struggling with. And if it's something I can help with, fabulous. I'll create a resource. If it's something I can't help with, then that makes a good podcast episode with a guest who can. Thanks for tuning in. This has been another episode of Underestimated.
Thanks for listening to Underestimated, hosted by Shauna Suko. To connect with Shauna, go to thebuyerinsider.com.